with comedian David Boyle, and I'm quitting alcohol. So it's been a fucking hectic 24 hours, 36 hours, whatever the fuck it is. My daughter, my 5-month-old daughter, had to spend the night in hospital last night. And I tell you what, I shit on Australia a lot. Mainly just the place, the people in it, and the culture. But when it comes to the fucking healthcare system, I tell you what, this is probably the best country in the world. I mean, because it's fucking free and the level of care you get here is just incredible. And I also mean just the hospitals as well, not the fucking GPs. The GPs are fucking retarded here. Don't ever go to a fucking GP for anything. They are the most useless cunts in the entire world. They know nothing. If you have a question that's even like slightly outside their like cut and paste answers, they have no fucking idea. That's why they tell you not to Google. They don't want you coming in with more knowledge than they do. Otherwise the scam is fucking over. That's why they tell you not to Google, because then you'll find out that's all they're fucking doing. And why would GPs give a fuck anyway? You've only really done medicine to get a good job. You didn't specialize because you preferred smoking bongs. Isn't that right, GPs? Of course not all GPs, but most. 99.99999% of them. They just don't care and they just don't know. They're not doing it because health is their passion. It's like what my wife was telling me one time. When she came over from India to study in Australia, she's an engineer. So she's studying engineering. She said in her class, every single person was either Indian or Chinese or a variation of that, Asian or Indian looking. That could include Pakistani, Japanese, who fucking knows, all those types. She said every single one was either Chinese or Indian, except for 2 white guys. There were only 2 white guys in her whole fucking course, and they always got the best marks. Not because they're white and we're the superior race. No, because they were there because they actually chose to do engineering. That was what they were interested in. They were passionate about it. They followed their passion. The Indians and the Chinese were just following what their fucking parents said. So you basically got a whole course of mediocre engineers doing it for like status purposes. And that's the exact same thing with becoming a GP, except worse, because they know nothing. So if you have a kid and you're in one of the lucky fucking countries that has free healthcare, and I can't emphasize any more how fucking great it is to live in a country with free healthcare. I'm talking to you, USA, because everyone else fucking has it. England has it, Canada has it, Ireland has it, some other countries that don't matter have it. Everywhere else has it except the fucking USA. How's this? One of my comedian mates, Matt O'Neill, he's going to be a star, the kid, even though he's older than me. He was in LA about 18 months ago for a couple of gigs and a little bit of a holiday, and he got sick. He had travel insurance as well, but he got fucking sick, and he got rushed to Cheddar Sinai Hospital, one of the most expensive fucking hospitals in the world. Anyway, they took him in, they put him on a fucking gurney, a bed. They rolled him inside and put him next to the receptionist and left him there for the next 3 hours, screaming in agony, until a doctor fucking came and saw him. The doctor checked on him, figured out he had a kidney stone, gave him a prescription for some painkillers or some shit, kept him for another hour, and then kicked him out. A month later, he receives a fucking bill from the hospital for $50,000 for a 4-hour stay next to the receptionist on a bed. $50,000 US, which makes that like 70,000 Australian dollars. So he calls his insurance to get them to take care of it, and his insurance company goes, nah, we don't cover that. And he's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Your travel insurance, you cover it. They're like, nah. If you read the fine print, it says we are only obligated to cover any costs you incur in Australia. So somehow he had to make it back to Australia, which is free, to see the doctor. It made no fucking sense. Anyway, he took it to the lawyers, and apparently the fine print is rock solid, and now he has to pay 50,000 US dollars, which he's not going to pay. That's how I know about this. He's like, "You're a dodgy cunt. You haven't paid credit cards before. What did you do?" I said, "Just change your number. That's the first thing you do. Change your number and just be prepared not to answer your phone to unknown numbers for the rest of your life. That's it. That's how you get out of $50,000-$60,000 of debt." Anyway, back to my original thing. So my daughter started going down with a fever, started coughing, had a blocked nose, started getting a bit of chest congestion, and was just real dull. Started going down pretty badly, actually. So we took her to the doctor. The doctor fucking was a moron. So we wanted a second opinion. So we were waiting at another GP, and she was starting to get really bad, like real difficulty fucking breathing. And we still had like a 45-minute wait to see this fucking moronic GP. So I was like, fuck this GP. Let's just go straight to the hospital, straight to emergency. So we went to Westmead Hospital, Children's Department. Big shout out to Westmead Hospital. Fuck, they were absolutely fucking first class. Even hospitals can be fucked sometimes, but Jesus Christ, they were so fucking good. As soon as we walked in, there was a doctor there, did a quick scan, did all the tests, had an idea of what was going on, took us straight through. Within 15 minutes, we'd seen another doctor who decided that we need to stay overnight for monitoring. So they had her in a bed within like 45 minutes. They had the tubes up her nose because she wasn't eating. They had the oxygen ready to go just in case she wasn't getting enough through the congestion. Then, after about another hour of monitoring, they took us to our own room where we were looked after by 3 separate nurses and 2 different doctors around the clock for the next like 30 hours. And it was just fucking brilliant. My daughter's pepped up again. She was struggling for a while there, but she's starting to get a little bit of that spark back. And just the fucking peace of mind that going directly to the hospital gives you. Because there's nothing you can do with really young children, with infants. There's nothing you can do. There's no medicine you can give them. There's like paracetamol and shit, but there's not much else. But just being in the hospital with the care Westmead Hospital gave us, it was just fucking outstanding. So if you have youngsters and you live in a country where you don't have to remortgage your house to get your temperature fucking taken, bypass the GPs and just go straight to the hospitals, because the hospital is your best option. The hospitals are probably not going to like me saying that, but it's true. Just go straight to the hospital. And I want to say a big thank you to everyone at Westmead Hospital, especially the fucking children's section. It was first fucking class. Anyway, that is it for tonight, and I'll see you the fuck later.